Hello and welcome back to Lecture 12 from Introduction to Game Technologies course. Today it's going to be a short lecture. I just kind of want to talk a little bit about what we've done in this course and where we're going from here. So, to kick it off, what was at the start of this semester? I put forward what this course was going to be. And now I kind of want to talk about what actually happened in this course, because it never quite matches up, does it? So we started off, and I posited that this course is going to be an investigation into the practices, theories, and ethics of video game design. We then kicked into a little bit of practical stuff, not only talking about how development works in making games using game engines. And this is kind of the cycle that we went through. But also talking about programming and what the nature of programming and the nature of computing. Hopefully you guys have realized that computers are not smart. They're just very good at what they do. We started making some games. I told you that your games might suck, and that's okay. It's probably your first game. But the more important part is to try really hard, learn from your mistakes, and then get better. And this is one thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing from your guys' top-down shooters, is kind of how you guys have taken that first try at a game and seeing kind of how you've honed your skills and improved not only what you can do, but how well you can scope out what you can do in the time that you have. We then tucked into a little bit about what makes a game. What is a game? And we took a look at some existing frameworks from some dead European guys. And then this happened. We had COVID, and that kind of shut it all down for a while. But we powered on. We were strong. We were able to do it. And we kept going with some distance learning, which is not optimal, but I think you guys did a great job. We took a look at what's the difference between play and game, kind of looking at Paideia and Ludus and kind of where things sit along that axis. We then took a look at how mechanics change the experience or the aesthetics of a game, if you remember the MDA framework, and kind of how those raw rules translate into player behavior, and then from player behavior into the general experience of a game, talking about the Ratata. We then took a look at how emotion works in gameplay and game design, and not only kind of what emotions are able to be accessed, but as game designers, how we go about doing that, how we go about creating experiences that develop different types of emotional responses, and how what we can do as game developers can create architectures for that to happen. We took a look at the differences of narrative and how different narratives work in gameplay, specifically the difference between the narrative within the gameplay, the diegetic narrative, but also the non-diegetic meta-narrative of the narrative that gets generated as you play the game. And I asked you how you felt about the difference between those two and where you felt was more important. We then kind of took a look at the role of the player itself in a game, taking a look at who you are and who are you within the gameplay. Kind of comparing it to the existent theories on film and how that might change when you start becoming the characters that you play, in a manner of speaking. We then kind of expanded out from the individual to the collective in terms of who are we as game players and as game developers. And from then we kind of looked at not only the representation of people and personages in gameplay, but also, how peoples are represented in gameplay, which is a slightly different thing, right? It's behavior versus representation, and kind of how those two things interrelate. And then kind of looking forward to the future in terms of becoming developers and knowing where you sit within game development. We took a look at the roles that you might want to take as a developer, and where you can start to think of yourself as fitting within these huge realms of game development. So that's kind of the course in a very, very short nutshell, in a 3-minute nutshell. So where do we go from here? What happens now with game development and with your degree? So I think probably the most critical thing for you guys to do is to continue to learn stuff. Just absorb anything and everything you can. One of the sort of the strengths of the CMP program is that it is quite diverse, and you can apply a whole bunch of different learning to what you want to do, whether that's game development or not. So if you want to do game dev, learn from VFX, learn from filmmaking. If you want to do film, learn from game in terms of how you might start to work with nonlinear narrative or things like that. It all kind of fits together, and that's one of the cool things about the CMP program. Speaking specifically, next semester, there's several different opportunities that you can have to continue and further develop your game development skills. In the media department, there's a course called Transmedia Narrative that is really, really cool, and I recommend you take a look at it in terms of one of your electives. It goes about the process of creating and defining a world and how that world might exist across different types of media. That might be, a story that gets told through film, or some experience that gets told through game. But how the world itself and how you define that world and do world building can support those different types of media. So Transmedia Narrative gets the thumbs up for me. Take a look at it. It's taught by Kevin Veal, who's a very, very good teacher. Within CMP, we have programming and prototyping, which are also very cool courses. Programming is probably our most computer science-based course, and you'll be developing applicable skills like algorithm skills and general programming skills that can be applied across many, many different languages. Taught by Tristan Bunn. And very, very good course if you want to go more towards sort of the game programming type of stuff. The prototyping class is taught by Birgit Bachler, and this is an exploration more into sort of human interface and how we as people relate to computation and computers. So there'll be a hardware component in which you're actually designing and developing hardware. You'll be soldering stuff, you'll be fabricating things, maybe using 3D printing, but you'll be basically sort of bridging the gap between a pure digital computer world and the pure analog human world and how those things relate. Really cool course. Birgit is really creative about how she teaches, and it'll be a lot of fun. I recommend taking a look at that course too. And finally, if you're more on the art side of stuff, there's the 3D modeling course, which is a deep dive into 3D modeling. And that is applicable not only for animation and VFX, but in game development too, on the art side of stuff. So please take a look at all those courses for semester 2. It's not too late to change if you want to change, or ask anybody for more information about those courses. After that, next year you have several opportunities to make some games. Now, at this point in the degree, CMP is specifically designed to not force you into different media categories. But because we do that, we do expect you to step up and kind of ask and place yourself in a position to make what you want to make. So in the core courses of cross media and intermedia, you have the option to make a whole bunch of stuff, different types of stuff that you want to make. In both of those courses, if you want to make a game by all means. Like, put yourself in a position to make a game. Pitch games, get people inside and start making them. There's some really good opportunities to make some cool stuff there. And then in the second semester, we have the Year 2 Game Dev course. And I would love to see you again there. I'll be there, and it'll be a deeper dive into using engines, game development in general, but we'll also be doing some tabletop stuff, so non-digital games, and looking into just generally making our games stronger and the pipeline process more efficient. Cool. Okay. Now, general advice, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to end on the what can I do part of game development introduction, is always keep in mind who you want to be and what can you learn and make to help get you there. Now that you're in university, it gets pretty open-ended as to what you can do. Always question what you're doing, why you're doing it, and will it help you get to who you want to be. Keep questioning that. With that in mind, there's a bunch of other stuff that you can do outside of university that will help if you want to be a game developer. Again, participate in game jams. You won't be a good game developer unless you make a ton of different games. Most of them will probably be pretty crappy, but that's okay. You'll always learn something from every game you make. Get in touch with the New Zealand Game Developers Association. This year we don't have a Game Developers Conference. Usually it happens at the end of August or the start of September, but hopefully we'll have one in 2021. I wouldn't be surprised personally if they try to organize something sort of real quick that might happen, end of November, start of December. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Also get in touch with Game Developers of Wellington and start engaging with the local scene because the people here are super friendly, super supportive, and they will want to know who you are and what you're doing and start showing your stuff. Okay. You've made it through a very interesting semester. Chances are good it's your first semester at university. You should be proud to have made it. It's been crazy. You've dealt with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of change, but you've made it through, and you should be proud. I am certainly proud of all of you who have stuck with it. Good job. I'm very, very happy with what you've done. Take that fortitude with you. Make cool stuff with meaning, with skill, and with heart. I would love to see you guys go out and make crazy cool stuff no matter what discipline you're in, and maybe it's cross-discipline. Maybe you're making crazy interesting stuff that doesn't even fit into any bucket. Either way, just go out there and make some stuff. You've made it through this semester. It's a really hard semester by anyone's metric. So you've already got some strength and you've got some spine there, which is awesome. So with that in mind, thank you very much, guys. I would thank you at the end of a course anyway, but this was a very, very weird semester and a very, very tough semester. So thank you very much for bearing with me. And I really, really hope you guys get out there and make some awesome stuff. All right. I hope to see you around sometime in person. Bye, guys.